Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Brewing e-commerce. And today I have a friend who's been very, very busy for many, many, many months. And as you guys already know, why he was busy and what he was doing, I'm so glad I finally have him on the podcast. So, welcome, Prakar, and I'm really excited to have you.
Thanks a lot, Shatank. Finally, we connected, and finally, this is happening. I know it's been going on for months and months, but glad to be here. Glad to be speaking with you.
Yeah, but the funny thing about this is, Prakar, that a lot of people are busy. In fact, everybody is busy, right?
Correct.
But if I am busy, nobody will know why I'm busy. I think everybody saw why you were busy. So that is awesome.
Yeah, I have a good excuse. Agreed.
Yeah, yeah, and we all saw you and Owen's Shark Tank thing went very well. And I think what stood out for me, knowing you a little bit, knowing what the brand is, there's a huge crowded space, but
Uh-huh.
still being there, if people were able to identify your brand with a unique value prop
Right.
and also differentiate, saying, you guys do this is phenomenal. As in, this is a great achievement by itself.
I mean, thanks a lot, Shatanka. It truly means a lot. And I think on this particular topic, I do believe, the market, particularly in BPC, and in fact, if you take any consumer space, right, the market is definitely very crowded. Because everybody believes in India's growth story, and that's a great thing to have. But the validation that the growth story has received has also led a lot of people to start their businesses along the same lines, which is great, right? And I think that allows, at the end of the day, for the consumer to win, right? I
Love
mean,
it. Yeah,
it is almost ballpark very unhealthy competition out there, right? Everybody is suffering from very high CACs, sometimes even low gross margins.
yeah,
But I think then again, business always boils down to fundamentals, right? If you have a very strong thought process regarding your P&L, then you can make tweaks and adjustments and maybe even customize your product offering, and build it from there, right? So what we have seen in the last 10 years is, as soon as D2C started exploding in India, right,
hmm.
everyone was very keen about performance marketing and marketing in general,
Yeah,
which definitely is a cornerstone for any successful brand. But just a marketing value proposition wouldn't cut it.
absolutely.
So storytelling is very important, but it has to, coincide with what you're offering out there. So I think we have worked very hard on developing these products that we have right now, and we continue to do so. And we are also very careful about launching new SKUs. We
Yeah.
want to take bets which will be fruitful in the future.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and we are very careful about trends in this category, because a very this category relies on trends, right? And the thing about trends is some of them stay, some of them just touch and go. So we
Absolutely.
try to make the right calls. And being a very young brand, it is impossible to have any data points
Yeah.
on such
Yeah.
these studies. So essentially, I think our data points are just our customers, and
Right. So we're gonna
D2C.
dive a
Yeah,
lot.
yes,
We're gonna dive a lot in your strategy, in your product, etc. Because it intrigued me, and I'm sure a lot of other people would also like to know. Right. So let's start from where it started, Prakar. I know you don't come a lot from the background of this side, right? But it
correct.
was something. Uh, was it like a problem statement that you found out, or was it something you saw there was a gap in the market? Because one of the biggest and fascinating stories to hear from D2C founders is always, right, why did they even start the company they did?
True. Actually, it's a mix of opportunity and a problem statement. So when we started out, we just wanted to start, right? We didn't know, okay, which category we are going to start in.
Hmm.
but we were very keen on what was happening at e-commerce, right? And uh, the uh, the notion that people now can buy great products at their fingertips, and people are out there catering to that demand, really took us by surprise. And I think we explored a lot of categories. We started with apparel, and we didn't go with apparel because we thought we clearly cannot stand out in the
Hmm.
apparel business. We didn't have a clear strategy behind it. And then we also were exploring a little bit on essential oils, right? And that was the trigger point, I think, for Conscious Chemist, because when we deep dived into this trend of essential oils and trend of natural skincare, that's when we discovered that at the end of the day, I think the customers are losing, because all the brands are, at least the new age or the legacy brands at that time, were claiming to be either natural or organic, chemical free, cruelty free, right, vegan, which is great, right? I think those value propositions as such are great, but they do not have anything concrete for customers in their proposition itself, right?
Interesting.
We felt that people are looking for transformative experiences, right?
Hmm.
They want the product to work, and it to work in a specific time period.
Hmm.
And that is the notion by which we started Conscious Chemist. We wanted to build a brand which is very honest and transparent about its ingredients, which talks about the myths and the fog which surrounds this
Hmm.
beauty and personal care category. Because from the outset, this seems very ambiguous, right? Because
Hmm.
there are many players, and customers have a tough time deciding what products to
That's
buy,
true.
because they do not know, okay, what will happen if I even buy it, right?
Hmm.
So derma cosmetics was something which was a category which truly delivered what it said, right? And
Hmm.
we took a lot of inspiration, I'll be honest, from brands in US as well. But we also knew that we cannot build a copy paste model,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. You have
consumers
to.
are in India are very different,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. You
right?
can get inspired, but it has to have the version and the flavor of the local market, which you guys I think have done very
Precisely.
nicely. So, right.
Thank you.
Right. Um, uh, how is the story regarding the name Prakher? Because that stands as a brand, as a testament to what you do, etc. How did you guys come up with that?
So yeah, pretty simple actually, Chitank. Chemistry again is, I think, something which is the subject of, it is a subject which translates into personal care, right?
Hmm.
Because all about everything about personal care
Is
dwells
around.
into chemistry, right? How
Yeah.
it reacts to the skin,
Yeah.
how the overall composition works.
Hmm.
And conscious because we are conscious, right? So we wanted a brand name which symbolizes we make skincare which is very deep rooted in science, and at the same time very conscious about you and the environment. So
Yeah.
initially, we had a very sustainable play in our brand as well, in a storytelling too. But I
Hmm.
think that has worn out over time. So we still offset more plastic than we consume in our supply chain. We
Hmm.
still partner
Nice.
with Reef Watch India, who rehabilitate coral reefs in and around Andaman coast.
Hmm.
But we felt that care, all of that is okay, but that is not what consumers are looking for. Consumers are still looking for transformative experiences, and sustainability again is a cherry on top of the cake. But
Yeah. It can't be the main value
it's
prop. Yeah.
can never be the main value
Yeah.
prop. It
Let me
has
ask
been
you. Yeah.
in markets like USA, right?
Yeah.
Not in India.
Let me ask you a very controversial question here, Prakar. Is I see a lot of reports, a lot of people talking about that this research report said that
Hmm.
68% of people are willing to pay more for sustainability, right? For sustainable products, they're going to pay 20% higher or whatever. In your experience in the Indian market, do you think that's true?
Yeah, my first-hand experience is that is very untrue. So I'll tell you a quick example. So we were uh, before, I think prior 6 months earlier, we were making our products in airless containers. So
Hmm.
these airless containers were upcycled from plastic, right? So they were 100% recycled plastic containers,
Hmm.
right? But the supply chain didn't just work, right? Because they were getting imported from China and they were very high lead times. Our fill rates on marketplaces had come down to 30%, 35%. Our
Hmm.
business was suffering. So
Hmm.
we made a very hard choice. Care, we have to do something domestic, otherwise we
Hmm.
can't scale the brand. So it
Right.
was a bit of a deal breaker for us, a tough decision that we had to make, but we had to, if we had to survive.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
did that, and honestly, nothing changed there. Like, in fact, things got better.
Hmm.
Our products are now at a better scale.
Hmm.
We are able to, fulfill all the demand. So
Demand.
I don't
Yeah.
know. S- I mean, sustainability. Then again, from what I understand about sustainability, I think it's not fair for all brands to put pressure on consumers regarding it. I think a sustainable change can happen when the top four or top five players decide, okay, we are going away with this packaging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
we are switching to this paper-based or a much more sustainable option, because only then manufacturers will be motivated to produce it, and only then the cost can go down. So
Yeah.
I don't think pressurizing consumers to be more sustainable is a long-term strategy. And I mean, like, it's still in very nascent stage. I'm hopeful for the future, but it's not gonna happen overnight, I feel.
Yeah, and I think you summarized it very nicely because firstly it is very category specific, right? Not everybody can be that sustainable as well. Second, then you
Correct.
have to justify that 20-30% higher price. Uh,
Correct.
but but I think it's very largely also driven from the point that how many competitors that you have in your space today, right? What are the kind of pricing offers? Because there is less and less loyalty in the market, in my opinion. Again, you can correct me.
Agreed.
And even if that, somebody knocks off those 5 quid 5 rupees here and there, people would still want to, all your ppc and all your performance just goes for a toss there straight away.
Goes
So
for a toss.
yeah.
Precisely. Precisely. No, I agree. I second that 100%.
Yeah.
And I think, again, sustainability as of now is not one of the key metrics that consumers judge a brand on. It's a good thing to have, but it's
Yeah.
not a scalable thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I want to understand this, Prakher, because we work with a lot of brands, a lot of early stage, a lot of advanced guys as well. And how was your 10 to 100 journey, right?
Hmm.
Because 0 to 1, 1 to 10 is something requires a lot of market research, product development, trying to go wrong in different things and then trying to, pick a few eggs in the basket, right? But as soon as your product is done and you have a wonderful product, the packaging is very nice, it stands out, the name is simple, that's why I love it, because simplicity is the most complex thing to achieve. Right?
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
um, how did you go about saying, I need to go on D2C and I need to do performance, I need to go quick commerce, I need to go offline, or I need to do this? Those key things for brands younger than you, what are the kind of tips that you would advise them to think for?
Again, I think it's something very category specific. But if you're building a consumer brand, I would always go for the D2C route first, because, as you said, right? Okay, going from 0 to 1 again is a function of like how many SKUs are you able to build? Is there any decent traction around it? And you can make tweaks and build in small batches and test it from there.
Hmm.
But when you go from 10 to 100, I feel that you need to have a lot of insights, you need to have a lot of data, and on a broader scale, right? Because sometimes what I have also observed that when you start up and you have, say, about 100 odd customers in your database, you are still in a bubble. You still don't know if the
Yeah.
thing that you're building is actually going to work out,
True.
but you don't realize it at that point in time. Then you think, okay, so this customer, XYZ customers, they like glass packaging, great. So like, let's double down on that.
Mm.
And I think that's not the right approach, right? Of the very first focus should be to scale and get your customer data as well,
Mm-hmm.
and be in touch with your customers and get to know them better, understand what they actually need, and make tweaks and adjustments over a 6 month duration, and then see how it impacts your cohorts.
Okay. Okay.
I think that would be a good starting point in your scale up journey.
And so for your category, was it like some kind of KPI and matrix that you looked at it and decided to go D2C first or marketplaces first? How was that decision arrived at?
We wanted to go D2C first, just because we didn't know anything,
Okay.
right? We knew we don't know how we're gonna scale up on marketplaces, right? Because it's a very closed system. You do not
Yeah.
have any insight on consumers, and
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
obviously we did not want to build a brand which cannot stand the test of time.
Yeah.
We needed to build very strong fundamentals,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
A lot of that insight also came from our seed investors, Lotus
Hmm.
Herbals, right?
Hmm.
So they were of the similar opinion. Okay, you should be building D2C first, and just be obsessed with your customer, right? And try to solve from there. Because until unless you have the right proposition, until unless you have the right products in the portfolio, you're going to burn, right? And the markets are not going to be this bullish forever. So
Yeah.
you've got to adjust for capital and work from there.
And there's so much like a gold nugget in there, Prakar, because um, when we build SaaS solutions, right? One of the very very important thing that I was always being questioned by our investors or advisors is distribution.
True, true.
And it is such a hard learning that initially when we started doing, we like, okay, let's go and do this also, let's go to the enlist ourselves with affiliation, let's go do this route,
Right.
that route, etc. But if you've not nailed down the product, your distribution is just going to fail. It's not going to deliver the
Precisely,
impact it has to.
precisely. Agreed. So
Yeah.
in digital spaces,
Yeah.
I think you carry on,
No,
please.
no, no,
Sorry.
please, please, please.
I was just saying that in digital spaces, I feel distribution is a commodity, right? But your brand and product you should make sure that your brand and product are not commodities, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we marketplaces should be keen to work with you guys. So I think that comes again with being obsessed with customer, being obsessed about
Yeah.
your product,
Yeah, and very
because you can
important thing,
yeah,
the aspect like guys forget here is marketplaces are amazing. They can start distributing you like night overnight, but then you don't understand the customer. There's no data at the back. There's no improvement which you
true,
so badly need in the first 6 to 12 months to improve the product, packaging, this and that. It's like a
correct,
black box. Yeah,
precisely,
yeah.
agreed.
So yeah, that's a very nice insight, Kraka. That launch your own stores, learn from it, improve, and then go and scale and spend the money, because again you have to be there now in different things. So do you also believe in the statement that D2C is kind of dead and now it's all omni channel?
Good question. I think great question. So I don't know if D2C is dead or not. Omni-channel is something again everyone is talking about, right? And although that is great, but I don't feel that at all points in time that every brand is ready for it.
Hmm.
So going omni-channel again is a very, I think, a generalized statement. From
Hmm.
what I understand about an omni-channel strategy is
Yeah.
something what Lenskart executed, right? So they have an omni-channel channel presence, but they
Hmm.
still have every piece of data in the entire journey of their
Yeah.
consumers,
Yeah.
and that helps them launch new collection, that helps them refine their product, etc. But I don't think you should be thinking retail from the get-go. Again, depends on from founder to founder, from experience to experience. If you're very confident that you have a great product on your hand which will fly off the shelves, go for it. But if you're not sure about that, don't think about omnichannel. Think about online channels. Think
Mm,
about making in small batches and testing, and
mm,
then again speaking to customers and reiterating your product until unless you figure out the right fit.
mm,
And you can do that very quickly on D2C. You cannot do it very quickly on retail because you would never know what is happening out there on the shelves, right?
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
D2C is not gonna die, Shwetank. So D2C is, I think, here to stay, and I think it's gonna evolve very rapidly. So solutions like you are building, right? So they are enabling brands to go 10 steps further, right? In building their customer journeys, in optimizing their spends, right? One thing that is definitely cluttered is performance marketing. And I think there is just too much traffic, which is reliant on Meta, right? So I think people are a bit skeptical about spending too much on acquisition, and they
yeah,
should be.
I always
But
say
if you're
this.
solving for loyalty, though, it is fine, right?
It's a different
If
thing
you're
altogether.
so
Yeah,
correct,
but I always use this example, right? In my calls is there are approximately 36,000 aircrafts which are active in the airspace globally, and every one
right,
of them has a black box, right? But
right,
still, the biggest black box is not the ones on the aircrafts, is Meta. Right? It has, we have no clue. Brands just keep on pumping money on an average, at least. Also, the brands we work with, the spend divided is about 80% Meta, 20% Google, and things like that, right? So
yeah, yeah,
it's insane how much money and advancements they have done on their side using AI, ML, and all those things for acquisition side of things. And it's so
right,
funny that you spend all the money and bring the traffic, but you think every visitor is ready to buy. That's not the case, but it's just
right.
mind-boggling. But yeah, yeah. No, so
Agreed.
that's exciting. Uh, from hearing from you, because your category is something which is not just digital, right? It can have a very very nice offline presence, can have also a decent quick commerce presence, etc. But you're still very bullish on the digital side, which is very nice to hear, irrespective of all the performance nightmares that suddenly tomorrow morning you'll wake up and you'll say, oh my god, my traffic suddenly went and I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, right.
um, how do you see the market evolving in the coming years, right? One is the angle of AI which is coming into play. Then there are all these new approaches coming to run business, etc. There is this whole influencer thing which is happening on the other side, which impacts a lot of businesses. Where do you
Right.
see this market heading, and how do you think it is going to impact conscious chemistry?
Honestly, I do not know, but I think the market is headed towards again a very creator-led commerce, right?
Hmm.
Uh, People are, mass advertising again. I feel is a channel which slowly will see the least amount of traction, right? And individual creators who can relate to that particular set of products or who can relate to that particular segment of audience that you want to target, they
Hmm.
can sell your product better than I think any other celebrity. So I think 10 years or 20 years down the line, there would be fewer celebrity campaigns. That is what I feel. But then again, that's just speculation. But I feel that you know the e-commerce channels are going to remain the same, but the overall experience is definitely going to get transformed.
Hmm.
Like you mentioned AI, right? So I think influencing buying patterns in customer journeys would be very critical. So for example, I'll tell you, uh, the most performing categories for us right now are pigmentation related, either
Hmm.
pigmentation prevention or pigmentation cure.
Hmm.
So right now we have upsell funnels wherein if a person buys a pigmentation corrector product, they after a period of time they also are suggested are sunscreens which are pigmentation prevention essentially. So for cure
Hmm.
to prevention, correct. I think AI can influence that, right? And as soon as you know, I don't know, maybe like they can influence your shopping cart better than
Yeah.
current flows that we have.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of that is just skepticism. And not really sure how it's going to pan out.
Yeah. Funny enough, I was chatting with somebody on LinkedIn yesterday. There's a lady, I don't know her personally, but we started engaging on some kind of content.
Yeah.
And I just wrote to her that there are some complex problems with AI now which can be solved, which were not even looked at a few years back, because the devices have become far more faster, the networks, and of course the AI algorithms, etc. And
Right.
amazingly funny, Prakher, I have to tell you that that lady wrote back to me saying, "I don't believe in tall claims. So I don't like this statement." And funny enough, LinkedIn actually flagged that this comment is derogatory.
Wow. Did that happen? That's insane.
So firstly, I'm very sure that that lady is using ChatGPT in some or the other form in her life to make things,
Uh-huh.
if not better, at least faster or simple, right?
Sure.
Uh, and then you say you don't believe in this kind of things, and there is an AI sitting back and it says that, sorry, I don't like this because you're not talking to someone nicely. And I was like, I was just laughing. But that's
That's
the fact
peculiar.
of it. Most people don't realize that these kind of things are so deeply embedded in our lives already, right?
True.
That once you switch them off, they're going to start seeing it. Like the biggest example is personalization. A
Uh-huh.
good personalization is something you don't see. A bad personalization is something you instantly catch. And
Instantly got you.
yeah,
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so today at the stage you guys are at, Prakar, right? You had good products, some great feedback. That's why you guys are building multiple SKUs, categories. You had this amazing Shark Tank success, and you're building more and more. And I know this from the market that people like you guys, which is very hard to do, and that is what Meta can't buy for you, right? So that's the biggest challenge.
True.
Uh, what is, if I have to say, three of your top biggest challenges at the moment for the next year?
Three of the most biggest challenges, I think. See, again, a cracking retail would be a big challenge, right? Because we have built this brand very digitally.
Mm-hmm.
We have been always digital first, and doing that transition into retail, getting to know the right resources or having the right sort of talent would be challenging because, again, embarking on a very unfamiliar territory there. So that is a great challenge because still about 90% of the shopping in our category happens in offline.
Hmm.
So we still have to figure out what is the value proposition that is going to work out there, and
Fair.
whether the current product channel fit would work in retail or not. It's a test of time that will tell.
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay.
we are confident that our products are still pretty no-brainer in nature, right?
Hmm.
A sunscreen is still a sunscreen, although it's highly differentiated, but still it will be in a consideration funnel of any person who just happens to have a glance at it. But still, going to that, how can we convert them at a higher price point where our competitors are priced like one fourth or one third of what we are offering would
Hmm.
be a big challenge at lower marketing spends, right?
Sure. Sure.
And I think apart from that, uh, there are like many challenges. Right now, I see retail as a very key challenge, and in terms of, I think acquiring new users at a minimal cost, again, a
Yeah.
pretty big
So
challenge.
the CAC and conversion rate side of things as well, and
The
then
same story, yeah, right.
yeah. Okay.
So CAC is, of course, a challenge, and I think advertising channel Meta is gonna get cluttered and cluttered. So what is the next big digital advertising
Yeah.
channel? We have to wait and watch for that.
So
Although
are you a
acquiring, yeah.
yeah, are you a big believer in zero party and first party data?
Not really sure about that. I think I would rather, with whatever data set that we can get, whatever insight that we have
Hmm.
about our
Sure.
consumers, we can
Yeah.
focus on building the brand
Programming.
on that end. Right.
Okay. Perfect. This is awesome because I think these challenges are real and they kind of keep on changing from the scale perspective as you grow as a brand. But
Right.
these are the fundamental pillars, and every founder needs to keep their eyes crossed at saying, these are the matrix. I need to perform under these numbers to make a successful business, and that's where your head is at. So, which is perfect.
Correct. Right.
Um, good conversation, Pragar. I think I'm enjoying it because from a fundamental perspective, you're trying to go and read those points in the book so nicely that any new guy who's building or who even starting to think of building a brand needs to kind of say this to themselves every single day, because there's so much happens in our life from an operational standpoint. You kind of just keep on forgetting the basics. Yeah.
True. True.
Yeah.
Right. So, absolutely second to that. I think there are just when you start up, right? There are just so many verticals in the business that you constantly have to keep an eye on, and focusing on consumers can get lost
Yeah.
in the clutter, because you might. I have seen a lot of times founders making big mistakes in launching lower priced SKUs to get more
Yeah.
conversions,
Yeah.
to make introduce more entry level SKUs, going for the routes which they wanted to solve for, right?
Hmm.
So I think it is important that fundamentally you have a belief in what you are doing and what you're solving.
Absolutely makes sense.
Because the more people you speak with, the more opinions you'll get. But
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, if you have a validated set of customers, by validated set I mean upwards of anything above 50,000 or 60,000 odd customers,
Hmm.
and if you can devise ways to understand their voice, to understand their feedback, then you can make tweaks to your marketing strategies, to your
Hmm.
operations, to your retention marketing, right? And I think that's pretty much a founder's job, I feel.
So how often do you pick up the phone and call your customers and users?
So funny enough, actually, the customer support number is directed to my phone number. So most of the time, when a order is delayed, I am the one telling that apologies, but it'll get delayed
Okay.
soon. It
Oh, that is
delivers.
awesome.
But
Okay,
but now
guys,
we
this
have
is
just.
not the podcast part. Okay, please, if you want to reach out to Prakhar, don't call the customer service. That's not the way we involve things.
Yeah, but we have a very since the last three or 4 months, we have a very strong support system.
Nice.
We have hired a few resources in the support team who help us assist.
Okay, perfect. I'm really enjoying this, Prakhar. But just interest of time, I have two more questions. The first one is, if I am to start a new and cool skincare brand now, right, in 2024, what are the
Yeah.
three pieces of advice your younger self will give me?
Again, target the white spaces. I think still there are white spaces in foot care and areas like neck care, essentially. But
Hmm.
the problem in those categories is that the spending capacity in those particular segments is very less. But I haven't heard of a crack. So there's a cream which sells popularly in India called crack, right? Which is
Hmm.
a heel repair cream. I
Yeah.
haven't heard a competitor to that
Okay.
since a
Interesting.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, a decent enough category.
Hmm.
And my advice would be to focus all your strength in. I sound like a broken record now, then, but
No,
focus
no,
all your
that's
strength
good.
in understanding what consumers really need, right?
Yeah.
And if just see the bigger picture, right? If you want to build say a 1,000 crore ARR brand, right?
Hmm.
So you have to operate according to that side, right? So do not be obsessed with smaller data samples.
Yeah. Hmm.
Have great acquisition channels,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
just you know there's also you need to have a lot of grit building in a category which is already very cluttered. So don't be bogged down, I would say. Yeah.
Super. And coming from somebody who's really done it, right, guys, this is all the difference it is, right? That's why, that's the whole intention of Brewing e-commerce, is to kind of learn from people who've done it, so that we save time, which is the most valuable resource for founder, right? Money always
Exactly.
follows, but even if somebody watching this can save 5 minutes of their time, I think it has a magnanimous effect. So that's the whole idea.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
hope it helps.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sure it does. Because you can go and get some of this in when you go and Google this out, right? You can go and
Hmm.
ask somebody who can easily go and tell these kind of things. But hearing it from you has a very different conviction to it attached, Prakar, and people. The way you saying it is very easily consumable. Yeah, right. It's not very complex. It's as simple
Thanks.
as it should be. So very thankful for that. That was amazing. And the last question now is, this is the toughest one. Okay, you have to really think and answer this one. You have to tell us something that you've never told anyone else before about yourself.
So sorry, come again, please.
So you have to tell us something about
Yeah.
yourself that you've never told
Uh-huh.
anyone else before.
That I've never told anyone else before.
It has to be a
Wow,
funny
that.
story or a funny incident or something.
Okay.
You feel free to embarrass yourself also a little bit if you like. Just something nice for the laughs.
Okay, I'll have to think about this one.
Yeah, I told you it's a tough one, but I'm
Mm.
sure you'll crack
Okay.
it. And you're not in the ocean with the sharks right now, so I'm sure you'll do good.
um, Something which I haven't told anyone before.
Or a funny incident, or something, just that to share with all of us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think I've never told anyone that when we started building Conscious Chemist, we didn't even understand how logistics work, right? So we
Okay.
didn't know we had to work with Blue Dart and all these guys to deliver orders. So we started a local delivery. We used to deliver orders in Gurgaon by ourselves. Uh,
Wow. Wow.
yeah, don't
So
let this get
amazing.
to any investor. They'll think that यार ये तो बहुत ही stupid लोग
Yeah.
हैं.
Yeah. No, but as in, this is, see, firstly, I firmly believe this, that nobody knows everything, right? But the
Yeah,
beauty of
yeah,
that is accepting that I don't know this, so that once you know, then you can kind of look for answers, right? And it takes a lot of bravery to go and accept that. Okay. Uh, you know,
right.
we are beyond the imposter syndrome. Say, hey, I'm whatever, right? I'm the king and I know everything. That doesn't matter. That doesn't work. So
Yeah.
highly appreciate the honesty, and highly appreciate saying, you know what, when we started, I didn't know this, but we figured it out, and this is where we are, and that's what matters today. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
No,
Thanks, Yotank.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, Raga, this has been amazing. It has been worth the months of wait that we were getting, because I since the time I got introduced to you and we had a chat, and I always wanted to get a peek inside your mind on what goes, and now I know. And so proud and happy of what you guys have achieved and what you're building. Glad to be part of this, and looking forward to having you again here soon.
Awesome, awesome. Would love to connect again. Thank you so much.
Of
Those are
course.
some really interesting questions, right down to the last one. Yeah.
I don't know the last one. I told you the last one's the toughest.
Nice.
Again, thank you so much, Prakher.
Thanks, Shwetang. Have a good one. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye bye.